Atlanta, Georgia, one of the largest cities in the American South and capital of the state of Georgia. Yet Atlanta was not the first great city to exist in Georgia, and its structures were not the first to rise above the dense southeastern forest. For over 4,000 years, the original Native American inhabitants of Georgia constructed some of the most impressive monuments in all of North America. Hidden in the dense southern forests, these forgotten ancient cities are only now beginning to give up their secrets. And what they're revealing are civilizations more complex and advanced than was ever imagined possible. These are the lost worlds of Georgia. Located an hour south of Atlanta, the Ocmulgee Mounds complex represents the arrival of a new people in Georgia. Archaeologists call these new arrivals the Mississippians. Originating possibly in Mexico, these new people would bring a level of political sophistication and artistic achievement to Georgia that had not yet been seen.
Well, we have 7 mounds here, and oftentimes the mounds are used for different things. The Great Temple Mound, the Lesser Temple Mound, these are social gathering places. Places that people got together for all the many reasons we gather in places where we don't actually live. Getting together for religion and ceremony to celebrate life. Getting together for the harvest. Getting together to watch the sky as it changes at night. Traders, getting up on top of this mound, could light a fire and let everyone down below know they were there. And religious leaders and political leaders could exemplify their power and their strength and their importance by living near or on these places. This site was a massive site, 1,500 to 2,000 people. There was a courtyard area between the greater and lesser mound, but much of what was here, we can't tell if there was a ball court area. There was certainly a gathering plaza between those two mounds. But since this area was used as a farm in the 17 and 1800s, much of the data is gone, destroyed by the plows and the cows of the dairy farm that were here. These mounds, back when they were used, would have had steps. On the Great Temple Mound, actually 2 layers of steps going up this side that's looking at us. They would have been covered with colored clays and kept free of vegetation. These mounds are phenomenal. The Great Temple Mound had buildings on top of it, a great place for people to gather. And it went up in stages, and we don't find much inside. The Earth Lodge is probably the most spectacular thing we have here at Ocmulgee National Monument. The Earth Lodge is a social idea, and it was a spectacular development of society and culture here. A circle of seats. And this was not the only one. There were 3 others here, which infers the need for social places like this. This was the largest one. A circle of 50 seats with a bird effigy built inside. It was a functional building, covered with dirt. It kept it cool. A hole in the center. The structure would not have raised up like a mound shape. It would have been flat-topped with a hole for the smoke to get out. In this structure, problems were solved, societies were planned, spirituality was celebrated, and the circle of life went round and round. It resembles much of what we do today and shows us a little bit that society in ancient times had many similarities rather than the differences we so often see.
Yet Ocmulgee was doomed to failure. Within 200 years, the great city had been abandoned. Perhaps these newcomers had worn out their welcome, and their city had become too difficult to defend. In fact, these newcomers would go on to build an even greater city just north of Atlanta. They would call this new city Etowah.